purpose of this week's assignment was to familiarize ourselves with Microsoft Access. And for this week's assignment, we had to create a database to contain information for candidates applying for jobs, the job openings, as well as interviews, and the dates that the candidates would be applying. So in order to do that, we had to create 3 tables. So if we went to create, I selected table, and it gave me a screen that looked just like this. I had to click to add short text, and I would edit the field name for each of the fields. So if we look at one of the tables that I already have, we have candidate ID, first name, last name, phone, email. So I created the information for each of the candidates, and once I was done there, I changed the view. And I went to design view, and as you can see, it lists the field names here, and then we can see field properties below. So I right-clicked and made candidate ID the primary ID. And I went down to phone, and for this one I wanted to change the field properties. It was originally inserted as just a number, but by going here and selecting the ellipsis, I was able to change the formatting of each of the numbers displayed in that column to a phone number. And by selecting next, I was able to show how I wanted it displayed, finish, and if we change our view back, you're able to see that each of the phone numbers here are listed with the area code in parentheses. The next fields that I had to deal with were job openings and interviews. And once I created these tables, I wanted to establish the relationships between the fields. So what I did there was by dragging and dropping the, I was able to see, in the design view, you're able to make connections between various categories. So by clicking on candidate ID and dragging and dropping it over to the interviews where it's the same, we can make that relationship there. Same thing with job openings, between the job openings and interviews tables as well. So once I had established the relationships, I wanted to create a query. So what I did was I went into create, and I selected the query wizard here, which was all new features for me, and I found it really useful once I was able to see how these tools work. So I was able to jump between the tables. So I had candidates, I wanted to choose last name, first name, the ID, and once I had one that I wanted, I selected the arrow over here to move it into the selected fields. I'm not going to do anything so we can see as it's already done. So once my query was established, I had last name, first name, job openings, interviewed by, date of interview, and rank. I wanted to then to add some criteria in some of the categories. So by going to job openings here, I selected O1, which was the job opening for a database administrator, and I wanted the ranking to be less than or equal to 3. Once I had done that, I ran the query, and it then shows me the 2 candidates that fit those 2 criteria. I found this to be really useful in terms of narrowing down a list of applicants, organizing data, and just in general in terms of how to create a database. It was great practice.